Today we're going to start playing one of my favorite games, Tailor Tales, which tells the story of Josephina, who's renameable, which I love, as she navigates opening and running her own boutique while romancing hot guys. Sign me up. I've always loved Otome games, but I recently took a break from reading them, and I thought the best way to get back into it would be James's newly released route. It's been over a year since I've played Tailor Tales, so I'm really excited to see all the new features with you guys. So let's get started. We're not going to skip the intro, we're going to watch it. I love this music. So first we have Neil Forrester. At least you have some amount of brains in that head of yours. Then we have Dimitri Kotovo. Yes, I would love to cook and clean for you. We have Gray Jansen. You're challenging me. This is going to be interesting. We have James, no last name. There's no need for you to know that information. We have King Prince. I wasn't stealing at all. How dare you accuse me of theft? And lastly, we have Aiden Jagger. I want to crawl into a hole and die. Alright, so this has definitely changed. I see that some characters have been taken away and new ones have been added. I'm still really excited for when Gray's route comes out, but we're gonna get started with James's route. So James, he is 28. His job is a superhero? ? His height is 6'3", so he's really tall. In an alternate universe where people have special powers, you are the one that designs superhero costumes for the superheroes. Interesting. One day, someone literally crash lands outside your boutique. He's gravely injured. You quickly help him out and fix him up with your own special ability. His superhero suit looks strange though. You've never seen him around before. Who is this man with the ability to fly? No, James' route is darker and nearly twice as long as the other routes. Exciting. Route length is 12 hours. That's definitely longer. So we have a couple pictures here. Very risque. Then we have this one. And so we're gonna get started in real. Alright. So I know a little bit of how this game definitely works because I did play it before, but we'll still read this and see how it's changed. In Tailor Tales, you play a young woman who's just opened her own boutique. You can determine her skin, hair, and eye color by using the color swatches on the left of the icons. I love the fact that you can do this in this game. I think it is so great that there are so many customizable features. These choices will reflect in special CGs that appear throughout the story, so choose wisely. Don't forget to equip your free starter shirt, skirt, and sandals. So, getting started, I think I'm gonna make her probably look closer to me, so I'm gonna go with a lighter skin tone. And I'm gonna go with blue eyes. Here's her shirt, her skirt, and everything else is empty because really cool part of this game is that you get to design your own clothes throughout it, and you'll have clients and things throughout, which I think is really cool. So I think with the shoes, since we can actually pick our own color, I'm gonna do a little pop-up color. I'm gonna do red. I like that color, so we're gonna do that. I finished. Save your current avatar. Yes. So for the name, we're just going to use a random name generator. So let's see what we get. So we got Rosie. I like that name, it's cute. I can't say I've ever used that name before. And I think for the last name, I'm just going to keep it the same. I think that works. Is Rosie Hearth correct? Yes. So for the boutique name, I guess we can keep with the superhero theme. I'm really bad at coming up with names. So I think we're just gonna name the boutique Super. Because why not? Is super correct? Yeah. So this is all correct and we're gonna get started. I have not played any demos or anything of James's route, so I really have no idea what we're getting into. 4.02 update. James's route is now here. Go to the character settings and start a new route with him to begin his story. Achievements have also been added. Please note that you may get a couple of achievements in a row after this message. Gray and Aiden's first chapter can be read if you go to the chapter section. If you guys are interested in seeing me read either of those or doing any of the other characters, let me know. To start off your journey, why don't you read the first chapter by clicking on the continue button on your right. So this game is set up by chapters, and each chapter you play is going to cost more money, and throughout the game you have to design clothes, and then there are check marks, I guess, basically, that you have to do when you have clients that need a certain dress or piece of clothing, and you'll have to go to the shop and buy the things that are needed. So let's get started. We're going to be starting with James chapter 1. Love that little noise. Tailor Tales is a lighthearted game, but each route brings its own unique set of warnings and triggers. Would you like to review these? I'm going to click OK. I will cut them out if I feel like they're too much. So you have warning and triggers for blood, minor character death, kidnapping, minor violence towards MC, violence towards others, and superheroes discrimination. I'm going to let you guys read that part on your own. And I am going to skip this part for the spoilers, but if you play yourself, you can totally do it. So enter your brother's name. I think I'm just going to keep the name Ralph. Is your brother's name Ralph? Yes. As far as the eye can see, there's gorgeous fabric to be found everywhere. From the most luxurious silk to the cheapest organza, it's all here at the market. I adjust my scarf as a particularly cold wind blows by. It's in the middle of winter. This place is where I truly come to peace. I'm in my element. Colors, textures, patterns. I'm already formulating my next designs in a particular iridescent piece of fabric catches my eye. It changes colors when you look at it from a different angle. It reminds me a little of the way the 80s movies created space outfits. Everything had to be shiny back then. Excuse me, I call out to the woman behind the stall, who is in the middle of talking to her companion. Yes, dear, would you like this one? Yes, 4 meters will do. The woman takes the iridescent fabric roll off my hands and starts measuring how much she needs to cut. You know, this fabric reminds me of Starlight's costume, says the woman. Starlight, a superhero whose outfit I didn't design. Someone else got to her first. She has the power to brighten any kind of light source and quite literally blind you. That's a pretty cool superpower, actually. Is that so? I say casually.
Huh?
Isn't it just weird how they're walking among us like normal people? It could be any one of us, she mutters in a dark tone. I don't like where this conversation is going. Why do they hide? I don't like that anyone can just, hide a really dangerous power. She cuts the fabric to my specifications. I pull the scarf over my nose to hide my disgust. They wouldn't have to hide their identity if people didn't try to ruin their normal lives. I'm sure they have a very good reason to hide. Oh, we're going with the fierce choice for this for sure. They wouldn't have to hide their identity if people didn't try to ruin their normal lives, I fire back. Imagine if everyone knew the identity of a superhero. There would be so much hatred and chaos. Lives would be uprooted entirely. Let's just agree to disagree, she says. This is a very interesting alternate universe that's being created, but I'm kind of really into it. The woman flashes a fake smile at me as she bags the fabric.
Oh.
That'll be $44.95, sweetheart. I pay the woman her money and quickly disappear from the stall. Suddenly, I don't feel so in my element after all. Time to leave before the blizzard starts. I find it very interesting that she was at an open market in the middle of winter before a blizzard was about to start, but we'll just go with it. Finally got back to Super before the blizzard started. So, Kim. Hey, Rosie. Kim greets me from behind the counter. I love her character design. She's so cute. That pink hair is so awesome. Hey, Kim. Did anyone stop by today? Yep, look who's back. Kim plops down a piece of fabric onto the counter. I immediately recognize the outfit and sigh loudly. Again, I complain? That's like the third time this week. Yeah, he told me he tore it while scaling a mountain, she explains with a roll of her eyes. Grabbing the outfit from the counter, I inspect it for any tears. I didn't have to look long. The culprit is staring me right in the face. The midriff has been torn open. What in the world? These look like claw marks. Do you fight a damn mountain lion up there? Do supers not have anything better to do? I say.
Oh.
Kim shrugs. He swears he was trailing someone who stole an old lady's purse. On a mountain? I repeat incredulously. The Lasher sure knows how to concoct extravagant stories for his adventures. Last time he said he tore it while swimming on the back of a shark. It's why the fans love him after all, Kim points out. Anyways, can you fix it? I let the fabric slide through my fingers, focusing on the holes that I can fix manually without having to recut any new patterns. I wriggle my finger until a fine piece of thread emerges from the tip. It's so thin, normal people would usually have a hard time seeing it. I manipulate it until it pierces the fabric, making a loop around to quickly stitch up a small hole. Okay, that's cool. So her superpower is being able to actually create thread from her fingers. That's pretty cool. No matter how many times I see you do it, it's always so interesting to see it in action, says Kim in awe. I cut off the thread so it's no longer attached to me and neatly tie it up. Now for the rest. Oh, a loud explosion rumbles from underneath me. What in the world? I yell, completely startled. The rumbling brings down a few items on my counter. Is this an earthquake? Kim ducks and covers her head as the shelves behind her fall down. The shaking finally stops. Kim, are you okay? I'm fine. I think it came from below, I finish for her. We both come to a realization. Ralph, Kim grunts. Back to work, Kim. I'll check up on Ralph, I say. Alright, let me know if I need to call an ambulance or not. So we're gonna go check on Ralph, her brother. I give her a wry smile. Kim exits the room and I sigh loud. What is Ralph doing now? I knew it was suspiciously quiet. I should have checked up on him sooner. I really like this music. I enter the hallway and walk all the way to the back, opening a small door underneath the staircase. It's the entrance to my brother's lab. Imagine going downstairs and your brother has a whole entire lab. There's soot all over the floor. I'm leaving footprints behind as I walk inside the lab. Lots of objects are on the floor. I'm panicking a little until I see two people sitting at the metal desk. Ralph, I cry out, what happened? Ralph just looks at me with a shrug. His hair is standing up in different directions. I'm just a little shocked, he says jokingly. The person next to him knocks him over the head. Kane. Is this like an alternate universe version of Kane as a superhero? Very interesting. Idiot, now is not the time for your stupid puns, Kane berates my brother. Kane, I question, what are you doing here? Your brother asked me to come. I knew I shouldn't have. You guys are crazy, Kane huffs. Wait, why am I getting lumped into this, I asked. What did you do this time, Ralph?
Huh?
Nothing. Why are all eyes on me? Ralph puts his hands up and tries to look innocent. Ralph sighs when he realizes I'm not buying into his act, then picks up a metal ring from the floor. I was trying to get this bracelet to harness Kane's electricity. I figured I could harvest it and perhaps create an infinitely generating power source. That's actually a pretty cool idea. Ralph gets hit over the head again by Kane. Moron, I told you that's not how it works. I can't keep generating electricity without pulling it from my own energy. Eventually I get tired too, then I collapse from exhaustion. Kane simply looks frustrated with my brother. And then it blew up in your face. You know that shit is dangerous. I could have lost my license, you know. Ralph shrugs, patting down his hair back to normal. I was grounded. I'm fine. I groan out loud. No, Kane's right. Don't toy around like that. I don't want to bury my younger brother as well, alright? A serious look dawns on Ralph's face as the words sink in, but then he quickly replaces it with a pout. Who else will come up with these nifty little gadgets then, huh? Kane smirks. I have to admit, your tracking device came in handy last time. Right? Ralph points finger guns at Kane. I roll my eyes at the two of them. They're always up to no good. Now someone has to clean up the mess that they made. There's soot everywhere. The stench isn't all that great either. I point at the floor. Ralph, you made this mess, so clean it up. Ralph groans and slouches his shoulders, but nonetheless walks towards the broom closet to get some cleaning supplies. Kane hops onto the metal desk and casually brings his hand up to his face. He holds his index finger and thumb together until a spark of electricity ignites between them. He keeps doing this until there's a steady stream of electricity going back and forth between his fingers. By the way, speaking of licenses, when are you getting yours? He asks nonchalantly, playing around with his ability. You've been asking me for years, I say with a heavy sigh. And I'm asking you again. Not everyone wants to be a superhero, Kane, I reply. I really like how she makes this alternate universe feel so natural. Ralph returns with a broom and starts sweeping the floor. Don't bother, Rosie is pretty stubborn. Kane stops playing with his fingers, suddenly looking serious. Yeah, but come on, unlike your moronic brother... I resent that, Ralph interjects. You actually have an ability that could be useful in combat. That doesn't mean it should be used in combat, I fire back. There are plenty of ways someone could use their abilities for the greater good without having to pick fights with bad guys. Ralph shuffles away with the broom. But you're just some lame-ass tailor, Kane groans. That's not exciting in the least. Irritation spreads across my face. Kane is really getting on my nerves now. He's insulting my work and calling it boring. There's nothing wrong with being a fashion designer. I don't see you complaining when I'm the one making your superhero costume. I fold my arms across my chest and glare at him. That's different, he says flippantly. You're still using it on clothes. His eyes widen as he realizes something. Oh, I've got it. The perfect superhero name for you. Kane grins and then spreads out his arms. Oh, let's see what it's gonna be. Black Widow, he says with a chuckle. Very original. I just stare at him blankly. Do I look like a spider to you? Hey, don't mock the name. Don't you know this one superhero? Spider-Boy, he shoots webs. From his butt. Same difference. That is one huge difference, I protest. Oh my gosh, that is one huge of a difference, I protest. I don't shoot weird web stuff from my butt. The thread is highly sophisticated. It's nothing like a web. Isn't it just the same thing? Kane cocks his head to the side. No, webs are sticky. My thread is not. I've seen you attach that stuff to anything. What do you mean it's not sticky? Have I been living a lie this entire time? Kane questions. Fed up with his attitude, I huff at him. Sew his mouth shut with your thread. Explain the difference to him. I think I'm gonna go with the kind answer here. Look, if you want to get technical, my thread doesn't stick, okay? The only reason why it looks like it does is because I'm actually tying it around the object. I'm piercing it with my thread and tying a little knot in it. I grab a piece of scrap metal from the workbench. Hey, don't touch my stuff, Ralph protests. I ignore him. I spread my hands apart, my fingertips glowing hot as a thin and transparent thread appears between both my index fingers. I stretch the thread, making it longer as needed. The thread splits into two, and I manipulate them in a way that it pierces the metal object. It goes in without a hitch. The thread is so fine and sharp it can pierce almost anything. That's actually so freaking cool. Kane watches me work with curious eyes until I've managed to attach the thread to the metal and I hover it in the air.
Oh.
Wow, I can't even see it. It looks like you're levitating it, he says in amazement. I dissolve the thread and the scrap metal drops down back onto the table with a loud plunk. See? Different. Still, you can use it to kick ass, Kane points out. I sigh. Look, I'm happy with my job. I like making clothes. I don't need to fight crime or save the earth with my powers. Not everyone needs to be a superhero like you do. I don't particularly enjoy hiding my identity as well. Kane pouts at me.
Aww.
I just wanted to see you swing around the city like Spider-Boy. Ralph is the one that laughs. Dude, no, you're not gonna see Rosie zip around like that. Besides, I wouldn't allow it. I place my hands on my hips. Oh, you wouldn't allow me to be a superhero? Since when do you have that right? Since I'm your brother and have to look out for you? With a somber look, Ralph's eyes are cast down towards the ground. We're the only ones left, he mutters. There's a sudden tension in the air, and I prevent myself from remembering my own past. I put on a courageous smile. How about you worry about yourself? You almost got electrocuted by Kane when I walked in.
Oh.
Ralph shrugs. That's different. Sometimes experiments go wrong. I just want to point out that I'm immune to electricity. It can't shock me. So, yeah. It may very well kill only you, says Kane.
Yeah.
Alright, enough talking. Give me some of your juice. I need to power up this bracelet. Still, you've already sucked me dry enough. Ralph grimaces. Dude, do you ever think about the words that are coming out of your mouth? I laugh in response. I don't think he ever does. Kane ends up blushing once he realizes what he's said. Shut up and go back upstairs already. Just as he says that, the intercom beeps. Kim's voice booms throughout the laboratory. Everyone's ears perk up to listen closely. Guys, do we own any flying ships? She asks in an unsure tone. Ralph walks up to the intercom and presses down a button to reply. The Forrester Corporation owns several of them. Yes, why? I love how she keeps bringing in the different characters into all the storylines, or at least into this one. I think that's cool. Then this giant ship flying over Celiannna right now is definitely not one of ours. The three of us look at each other in silence. Wait, a flying ship that isn't from Forrester Inc.? Do you have any cameras outside? Kane asks urgently. None that point towards the sky, Ralph grumbles, hastily walking towards the exit. Are we under attack? I question, nervous about this unidentified ship. Ralph's silence speaks volumes, and I'm suddenly on high alert. I rush over towards the table with the intercom, slamming my finger down on the button. Kim, get down here now. Alarms suddenly go off in the lab. The sirens outside can be heard wailing. The lab is underground. We should be relatively safe here in case of an attack. However, Ralph and Kane are making their way towards the exit. They want to see what's going on. An ear-deafening blast can be heard from above ground. The laboratory starts to shake and all three of us fall down from the shockwave. The lab rumbles and trembles from the aftershock, dust falling from the ceiling. They're definitely not friendly, Kane cries out. I can hear Kim's groans. She's at the staircase. I want to rush over, but Kane stops me. Stay here. This lab is just like a bunker. Don't do anything stupid. Let me handle it. He then turns to Ralph. Notify the rest of the squad. When push comes to shove, no matter how immature Kane can be, in emergencies he's always someone you can count on. He quickly bolts through the doors, leaving us alone in the lab. Ralph turns on his heel and begins to furiously type on his cell phone, notifying the other members. Then he tunes in on the news channel. They're broadcasting breaking news at the moment. Kim burst inside the room, nearly coughing up a lung. Kim, are you alright?
Ah.
Yeah, there's just a lot of dust in the air right now. What did you see? I asked her. The ship. It shot down a building. It's still hovering directly above us. I'm so scared. Kim crouches onto the floor, clamping her hands on the side of her ears. Oh no, I feel so bad for her. I bend down to comfort her. You're safe here, Kim. Let the superheroes do their work. I'm trying to stay strong for her, since Kim is younger than me, but I can't deny that I'm scared as well. Honestly, I'm really worried about Kane. He already looked tired. Is he even able to fend for himself? Then I walk over towards Ralph and I look at the TV screens. With my own eyes, I see the images of what's happening above. Though it's hard to spot due to the snowstorm, there's a giant ship suspended in the air. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before. It's a pearly white color and it looks very sleek in its design. Ralph shuts off the alarm so we're able to hear the TV. Ralph, who else other than us has the technology to create those? I ask him. Other than Forrester Inc. and Rayister, I don't think anyone else does. Ralph looks stumped. He's trying his best to recognize the vehicle. But that's not one of ours. Rayister has only created small ships. They wouldn't be able to create a ship of that size. Ralph brings his hand to his mouth, tapping his finger against his lip in contemplation. Immediately I think of the terrorist group Julio. I'm gonna go with Julio. Anxiety and disgust whirls up inside me as I suppress my painful memories. If I'm supposed to be saying that group name differently, please let me know in the comments. Do you think it's Julio, I ask? Are they planning on attacking superheroes again? Ralph grows quiet. I don't know, maybe. The news broadcaster is saying the ship suddenly appeared over Celiannna and fired a missile at a large office building. Luckily, the casualties are low because it's Sunday, so there weren't many people in the building. Oh my god, that's horrible. Still, that's right near where we live. I really hope Kane is okay. I hope he's okay too. Kim joins us and she points at the TV screen, which is displaying a live feed of what's happening. Look, they're there. On the screen, we can see several superheroes show up. It's a little hard to see it through all of the snow, but I recognize a couple of them. I designed their costumes, after all. What a power move to be able to say that you've designed, like, almost the majority of all the superheroes' costumes in, like, your society. There's a bunch that are unknown to me as well. At least one superhero is flying around, and I believe I spot Spider-Boy swinging around. Oh, Spider-Boy. I don't see Kane, I murmur softly. I spoke too soon because a huge lightning bolt appears from the sky and blasts the front of the ship. Kane, don't be reckless. If that thing falls down, you're gonna create even more casualties. Ralph sighs with a worried tone. But look, the ship seems unharmed, I point out. Shield technology. This is very sophisticated. We all go quiet once we see the ship open up at the bottom and dozens of little objects come flying out. It's hard to tell what they are when there's snow everywhere. What are those? Kim shrieks. Drones, Ralph says, though he's unsure. I lean in closer to the TV. No, I think they're people. A lightning bolt blows one of them up, and then we can clearly see the pilot fall from his hovercraft. Thank goodness, it seems the smaller ships don't have shields on them. But wait, did I see that correctly? Did you see that too? I ask. Yeah, their skin is red. Kim finishes. All of them are, see? A shared ability? A family, perhaps? This is unusual. Sometimes people are born with deformities because of their abilities, and they're certainly not unique to each person. But so many of them? Together? Ralph questions. This is getting even more confusing. It doesn't seem to be the work of Julio, but I can't be too sure. Who would openly attack Celiannna like this? The news reporter says that everyone is fighting back against the smaller hovercrafts, but their numbers are too great for everyone to handle. Damn it, Kane already used up a lot of his powers just now. Ralph grits his teeth. This is my fault. Oh no, Kim gasped. Is Kane gonna be alright? I clench my hand into a fist. I know I'm not a superhero. I'm not suited for combat one bit, but I can't sit here idly twiddling my thumbs as one of my best friends fights for his own life. What if people need medical attention, I asked. Rosie, you're not thinking what I'm thinking, right? Stay here. The lab is safe. I narrow my eyes at him. What if Kane was bleeding out on the streets? Would you still say the same thing? Ralph presses his lips into a thin line and furrows his eyebrows together. He can't quite argue back with that as we both care about Kane. I know first aid. I can be of some use. I love how the main character has such a strong personality, especially compared to other games where you see a really submissive main character. I really like how she isn't like that. I'm the superhero, but I can make sure no one dies under my watch. That in mind, I grab my coat and rush out of the lab. I can hear Ralph cry out behind me. When I've made my way outside, the blizzard stings my eyes, making it hard to see. I look up, being able to spot the giant hanging in the sky. It's hovering above the city, a slight distance away from the boutique. I'm standing in the shadow that it casts. It's humongous. It's sleek and doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before. It's definitely not one of our ships, so who isn't? Who is attacking Clanger? I can't help but think about Julio. What if it's them after all? They're back with another huge attack. I can't just stand by this time. I don't want to be helpless. I can see the small hovercraft zooming about the place. Some of them are shooting bullets down below. I'm out of the immediate danger area, but I'm still not completely safe. Someone out there may need help though. I just hope it isn't Kane. Judging by the lightning bolts in the sky, he's doing just fine. Just then, I see something in the sky approaching me, fast. Snow whirls around at an enormous speed. I focus my eyes, easily being able to identify what it is from a large distance. It's a superhero, and he looks knocked out. Oh no, if he falls at the site, he's gonna die on impact. Oh my god. Quick, I need to do something. He's headed this way and will land in just a few seconds. My adrenaline gets pumped, forcing my body to follow my instinct. I shoot out a thread into a lamppost, and then another lamppost, and quickly start to weave a net in between. He's coming closer. Crap, I'm not done yet. This net will barely hold. I focus even harder, forcing myself to manipulate several different threads all from my fingertips until I've made a sizable net in between the street lamps. Not a second was wasted because the superhero crashes inside the net. The net stretches out, luckily enough it doesn't tear as it distributes the momentum of his fall. I quickly whirl my thread around the person himself to make sure he doesn't go flying out the other way. It's like some kind of catapult. He wriggles back and forth in the netting until he finally comes to a stop. I sigh out in relief. I caught him. I look at my handiwork and cringe. Kane is never gonna let me live this down when I tell him I caught someone from near certain death by spinning a web like a spider. It'll just be my little secret for now. First things first, I have to see if he's alright. I jog over towards the netting, dissolving it as I come closer, gently lowering him onto the snow. The superhero is a tall man, clad in a black outfit with red and gold accents. I don't recognize his costume at all, especially since it's torn to shreds. It's like something burned him because I can see it's charred in some places. A mop of messy black hair covers the rest of his face. The most important thing, he's breathing, but also bleeding. I have to get him inside. Using my thread, I create a makeshift stretcher and drag the man inside the boutique. Who would have thought that a superpower of having thread come out of your fingers could be so useful? Yeah, this chapter is definitely longer than the others that I remember. I remember most of them would probably have ended by now, but I'm cool with this. Ralph, help me out, I call out for him when I'm at the stairs. Ralph quickly comes to my help, sees the man I'm dragging behind, and lifts an eyebrow. Who the hell is this, he asks. Does it matter? He's hurt. Help me put him on the table. What if it's the enemy? Well, he's not red, is he? Come help me. Ralph doesn't complain anymore and swiftly helps me put the man on the metal table. However, he's so heavy. Kim has to come help us as well. It's one thing to drag the man, it's another to lift him entirely. When he's flat on the table, I get a good look at him. Now what? Asks Ralph. I'll get the first aid kit, Kim exclaims, running off. Oh god, wow, he is really messed up. I quickly look over his torso, which has burns and a million little cuts. This doesn't look good. Something was attacking him before. Was it those red men? They look so creepy on TV. I'm gonna click shift so we can see the body. I place both my hands on his chest, grabbing what's left of the charred fabric and tear it in half. The costume splits, bearing his naked and burned torso. It's easier to work when the clothes aren't in the way. I lean closer into the man's face. Hey, can you hear me? The stoic expression remains on the man's face. He's completely out of it. While he's covered in burn marks, the most pressing matter is a large cut on the right side of his waist. He's bleeding from it rather badly. Kim hands me the first aid kit. She tends to the burn wounds while I clean his wounds. Completely focused on the job, I touch his tan skin with my fingers, forming a thread that eventually pierces it. The man remains passed out and doesn't notice as I stitch up his wound. I puncture his skin back and forth, creating a very clean stitch. In no time, the wound is sealed. Checking his body for any more open wounds, I notice he's only got smaller cuts that are easily cleaned and only need a bandage, if at all. The burns, on the other hand, covered across his body, are another matter entirely. I'm not a real doctor. You will have to go to the hospital for this. The only thing Kim and I can do is cool it down and dress it with bandages for now. I sigh in relief when I'm finally finished with my first aid. At least the bleeding has stopped. Rosie, look, we're winning. They're falling back, says Ralph as he points towards the TV. That's good. Have you seen Kane? I'm unsure. They haven't said anything about the death toll yet. Hearing that makes me even more worried. No, Kane can handle himself. I still saw his lightning not too long ago. He won't go out without putting a damn good fight. There's no way they got to Kane. I won't believe it. By the way, do you recognize this guy? I asked Ralph, pointing at the man in front of me. I seriously don't know. Aren't you the one that's supposed to recognize them all, considering you're designing most of these costumes? I shake my head. I don't provide for every single superhero, you know. Can't you look him up in the database? If he's a superhero, he's got to be registered, Kim suggests. Sure, I can look at that later. What's important now is nursing him back to health until he wakes up. I've taken care of most of his wounds, but he doesn't need a trip to the hospital. We just have to wait until he wakes up. I lean closer to him, studying him. The burns are scattered across his torso like a lightning bolt. I wonder who this man is. I can't help myself as my hands reach out to his face. I brush away his black hair, revealing his closed eyes and... wait. My fingers trail across the grooves of his ear, his pointy elf-like ear. Sometimes superheroes have abilities that affect their appearance. I've once seen a woman with polka dots all over her body, like she was some kind of Dalmatian. Another time I saw someone whose skin was like a literal slime. However, this is the first time I've ever seen someone with pointed ears. It doesn't appear to be a body mod of some kind. It looks natural. It's kind of fascinating. Wait, they're saying something on TV, says Ralph all of a sudden. Absent-mindedly, I trace my finger along the tip of his ear. It's really long. How come I didn't notice it before?
Huh?
What? They're saying it's not Julio, Ralph exclaims loudly. I look back down at the man. I'm startled when dark brown eyes pierce me with such an intense gaze that it rattles me to the core. Oh, he has really nice eyes. The man swiftly gets up from the table, planting both feet firmly on the ground. I don't have time to react as he approaches me. Oh god. In an instant, I'm suspended in the air as the man grabs me by the throat, squeezing it. Holy crap. Girl, you gotta get out of there. I can't breathe. Try to break free. Let go. I would try to break free. I claw at his hands, trying to break free. He instead squeezes even harder, and I'm starting to see black spots in front of my eyes. I mean, listen, I know they may not be as strong, but I'm pretty sure both Kim and her brother are still in the room, so I'm not quite sure why they're not doing anything, but... Okay, here we go. Let go of my sister, Ralph screams. The man gets knocked out of the way as Ralph charges into him. He releases his hold on me, and I collapse onto the floor. I inhale a large gust of air to fill my lungs with oxygen. Take that, Kim yells as she throws a roll of bandages at the man. I like how there was an animation for that. I pick myself up. Stop, we're not trying to hurt you. I helped patch your wounds up, I explained, coughing up for air still. He must be disoriented. Maybe he thinks we're trying to attack him. The man stands his ground, tall and menacing, before he looks down at the bandages on his waist, as well as the rest of the bandages covering his burns. His tense eyes meet mine again, and I feel a lump form in my throat. I don't know why his gaze makes me feel a chill run down my spine. See, I did the stitches, I say nervously, pointing at his side. Unexpectedly, the man rips the bandages off from his waist, revealing his freshly stitched wound. Don't, you have to keep the wound dressed, I say. His dark eyes travel from the wound and back to me, as if he's silently asking me if I really did stitch him up. Please, calm down. Let me help you. I cautiously walk towards him. Girl, I would not be walking towards him right now in this situation, but you do you. I hold my hands up to make myself seem as non-threatening as possible. We're not here to hurt you, so please let me put the bandages back on. As I take a step forward, I hear Ralph cry out in surprise. He's pointing at the TV in shock. That's him. I turn around away from the man to see what Ralph is talking about. My eyes widen and I spot the screen. They're replaying a clip from the attack. A man wearing a black with red and gold armor flying around in the air, battling the superheroes. He gets struck down by a bolt of lightning and soars off into the distance. Woohoo for Kayleen. The reporter says the ship appeared from the sky. It came from space? It's an alien ship. I feel horror wash over me. It's an alien, Ralph cries out. Suddenly his breath is running down my neck, causing all the little hairs to stand up straight. You, his voice croaks out, saved me? I don't dare turn my head to face him. I can feel my heart racing 1,000 miles per hour. This man I saved is not a man at all. You, get away from her, screams Ralph, going for another charge attack. Oh my god. However, before Ralph can do anything, the man knocks Ralph away with a single punch. Holy crap. Ralph crashes into the wall and drops down onto the floor unconscious. Kim hurriedly runs over to him in a panic. I'm forcibly turned around as he yanks on my arm, making me stand in front of him face to face. You, he points to the stitches, did that? I can't speak, my body is frozen. He hurt Ralph. He is the one that attacked my city. What do I do now? How do I take a man of his size out all on my own? Try to attack him? Try talking to him. Well, I'm going to try talking to him because I don't think an attack is going to go very well. Yes, I replied. Maybe if I comply, he won't hurt us and leave us alone. I don't know what he's going to do. Please, don't hurt us, I beg him. The man doesn't seem to be listening, though, an ice-cold and calculated expression etched onto his face. Before I know it, he's thrown me over his shoulder, then launches himself into the air. Oh, we're being kidnapped. Hey, I cry out, pounding my fists onto his back. Unfazed by my attacks, he keeps scaling higher. Wait, what's going on? He goes straight towards the ceiling, blasting a hole in it as he flies straight up with me on his shoulder. The impact of the ceiling and several other floors in between caused me to black out. I think it's really cool how all of these animations she's at. I think they really add to the story. I really like them. My last thoughts before I lose consciousness are, this is not a superhero. He's a villain. Wow, so that was the first chapter of James's route, and I really liked that. I thought that that was really good. It was really action-packed. It was exciting. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading chapter 2, which that video should be up soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And this is the first time I've done anything like this and made a video, so if you have any comments on how I can improve or things that you think I should do differently, please let me know. And definitely leave comments. I'd love to have a discussion of what you guys think so far.